Hello, Urban Rec Australia, and welcome to the Rec Room. My name is Brooke, and I am the league manager here in Newcastle, New South Wales, and your host of this very, very exciting platform that has been created to show you a little snippet of the huge movement that you're a part of. And we're going to give you some helpful hosting tips along the way from some of Urban Rec's finest. We're getting some special guests, I should say, to jump on, provide their unique perspective about working here at Urban Rec, and how you could provide the best possible experience for our members. And for episode one, we have a very special treat. I'm very excited to introduce an entrepreneur, Wonder Woman, a force to be reckoned with, our founder, Madeleine Wilkie. Mads, welcome to the Rec Room.
Woo! Crowd goes wild. That's a
Welcome.
great intro. I love it. Thank you. I
Thank
feel very
you.
famous.
All right, so Mads, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions just about how we got here today, and we're going to get to know
Yeah.
you a bit. I feel like in big businesses, we don't really know how it started, so I'm really keen to hear from you about how we got here today. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Cool. So I am Madeleine Wilkie. I'm the Australian founder of Urban Rec. As you may all well know, it was originally founded in Vancouver, so I can't take all the credit. But I did see a gap in the Australian market, mostly for myself, and was like, I literally need to experience this, but in my home country, in good old Sydney, which is where it eventually, first of all, started. My background is that I didn't actually go to university. I didn't study sport. I didn't do any of the cool things that you would expect. I just love playing sport, but only as an adult. So I actually didn't want to play sport until I was a bit older. As in, I didn't think I could play sport, or I didn't feel safe to play sport. I didn't feel like it was an inclusive place. So I was always quite intimidated by sport growing up. And yeah, when I became interested in sport at like 26, which is a really late age to become interested in sport, that's when I left, obviously, the industries I'd been working in. I'd just been working in like real estate, hospitality. I've been doing like reception, admin, and sort of done traveling along the way. And yeah, I had plenty of good bosses, plenty of bad. But yeah, I spent my 20s traveling, and I spent my 30s building this beautiful baby, which is Urban Rec.
Wow. Here we are. Here we are. That
Yeah.
sounds so exciting. Tell us a little bit more about that. Tell us a bit more about the conception of Urban Rec. What inspired you? What was your initial vision and purpose for the business, and how have you achieved that?
Yeah, well, it was exactly like I just said. I was so intimidated to play sport growing up. I remember being in like high school and all the girls would be playing netball, and I was like, this is shit. I don't want to be doing it. I don't like it. It's not for me. Even soccer, I didn't mind soccer. It was like, and but I just felt, I don't know, for me, it was always really like intimidating and daunting thing. And yeah, just when I was over in Vancouver, I was able to play in a league with a whole bunch of randoms. So we signed up as individuals, and everybody, and there was some really fantastic players. There was some really like ordinary players, and I was certainly the worst, but I far out did that group of people make me feel included and like safe and fine. And I was like, oh my God, I've never done this before. And they were just so easy to deal with. And we had so much fun. We all became mates. We gelled so quickly, which is the beautiful thing about sport is you don't need like any awkward introductions. You just kind of play sport together and it gels you automatically.
Yeah.
And I just loved the camaraderie we had, and we would go for drinks after the game. We lost every single game, probably thanks to me. But we would go and like do shots and have a great night
Oh
anyway
my
on a
God.
Wednesday. And I just was like, this has to exist back home. Like, I don't understand why, if I go back to Australia, I can only play in club sport. And I
Mm.
just didn't feel like it was the right thing for me. I wanted
Yeah.
something different.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Can you talk a little bit about like any specific business related challenges that you've faced since starting Urban Rec in Australia? And I guess briefly touch on how you've overcome them.
Um, well, I'm not highly educated. So I think a lot of the time people assume that you have to be, graduate with an MBA and do all of this crazy stuff to be successful in business. But I think the overcoming that, it's not so much something I need to overcome, but it's sort of a stigma that needed to be broken, and I think still needs to very much be broken
Mm.
in this world that we live in. I had no money. I was a 26-year-old. I was renting. Like, I had no financial background. I had no like investment, anything like that, and it was very much bootstrapping. So that could have been something that could have stopped it from getting up, because although I will say Urban Rec is luckily a business where you don't need to go and, buy a whole bunch of really expensive machinery or rent
Yeah,
out an office
so
so
true.
there it is a sort of lean startup, which makes it really
Mm,
easy for when you're starting. And then I guess yeah, just I've overcome the hard launch, which is, and it's so funny because I'm still, when you say how have I overcome it, like I'm still very much living it. So I'm
yeah.
not, nothing's overcome. We're still launching cities, including Perth, and I'm still reliving those early days of like, this is hard. This is so hard. Like nobody knows who we are. Nobody cares who we are. Nobody believes in what we're doing yet. And we are consistently trying to change their mind.
Mm,
And that's still very much 14 years on happening. And I've literally
mm,
just jumped off a call from Perth today. And he's
mm.
like, right, we have no registrations. And I'm like, stay calm. This is how
We'll
it
get
is.
there.
Like,
Yeah,
this is how we do it. And we've got to convince the whole of the Western side of Australia that this is something worth, participating in. But
yeah.
overcoming it in terms of getting past like, oh, if you were just like a Pilates studio or just like opened a nice little trinket shop, you just
Mm,
need like 5 or 6 people a day to come in and you'd be stoked and you'd be like, great,
mm,
business is booming or growing. But for us, we need like critical mass. So in every
mm,
city, including Sydney and including Newcastle and everywhere we've
mm,
ever launched, you need like 1 to 200 people to agree to participate for that first ever season. And
mm.
that is just the sheer mass of having to recruit that many people to believe in what you're doing is definitely the biggest thing to overcome. Like that's a huge
Mm.
challenge for anyone in business.
Yeah. Off the cuff, I'm sure you've dreamt about this a little bit, but I guess have you ever thought about what it may look like when you can say, I've overcome all my challenges? Like what does that even look like?
That's not real. That's not real. That
Do you
doesn't
even
exist. And
want
how
to get to
boring.
that stage? Like, do you kind of, does it excite you to be like, there's always a new challenge? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's exciting, right? Probably don't want to get to that
Yeah.
stage where there's no challenges anymore.
No, how boring. I don't want to be like
Yeah.
a big fat controller sitting there with my cigar going, well, business as
Yeah.
well.
You're
I don't want
constantly
to.
evolving. And I guess if you're not
No,
challenging yourself,
exactly.
you're not growing.
And like, talk about business. Like, I used to write, like, obviously, chat has changed everything in just the
Yeah.
last 2 months, 6 months, whatever. So, business
Yeah.
is evolving so quickly. Marketing is different. When we started, Instagram didn't exist. Like, that's how
Wow.
ancient we're talking.
Wow.
So, I lie, it started the same year, 2012. So,
Mm.
Instagram and Urban Rec are the same age. They've had a lot more
Wow.
success than us,
Yeah. Just
but
slightly.
whatever.
Slightly.
It's just a platform. Um, but yeah, like so it's just everything's going to change and it's going to keep changing. So what I know now, 14 years into the business, will be completely different to what happens in a decade from now. And I think it's cool. Like I love the fact that I'm still growing in those other cities. Like it's still exciting. Like I
Yeah.
still feel very young in my approach
Oh,
to the
yeah.
business. Like I'm still figuring it all out.
Yeah. Oh,
Still.
that's so exciting. Well, I guess
Yeah.
on that little wavelength, I'd be really keen to know, from a founder point of view, where do you see Urban Rec in 5 years' time? And how do you intend to get there?
Um, that is such a hard question. Hey, I definitely have not been able to answer that pretty much ever throughout.
Mm.
Everyone's like, are you exiting the business? Are you going to sell? Are you going to get investment? All of that kind of stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I'm
for
like
sure.
having way too much fun running it and growing it to
Yeah.
like even think like I am 40 this year, which means I started this when I was 26, which is crazy because I'm like, I still feel like I'm 26, but I'm 40. So there's a lot behind me now. But I
Yeah.
also think that in 5 years' time, I will still very much be growing it. Like I will not be I don't know, I won't be exiting. I won't be like, hopefully, the structure of the business, there's more opportunity for like more of a head office style where we can have like marketing specialists or operation specialists. And we've got a bit
Mm.
more growth to be able to sustain that because right now the business is quite siloed and segmented in each of the different areas and
Mm.
cities.
Mm.
So perhaps in 5 years, it'd be cool to have like a bit more of a not a C-suite because it's definitely never going to be that. We're a sports club, like we're not
Mm.
a corporate anything, but be able to have like people that are a bit more specialized in their areas
Yeah.
rather than at the moment. A lot of people in head office are just generalists. They just have to do
Mm.
everything really well.
Very homegrown.
So yeah, I think in 5 years we'll be a bit more evolved, and those smaller cities hopefully will be a little bit more, I don't know, mature,
Yeah,
maybe.
I love that. That
Yeah,
is so exciting. And the ripple effect that
yeah,
we have from the top down will be crazy. I'm looking forward to seeing that. We're talking a little bit about timeframes and stuff. You've been in this
yeah,
for 13 years this year. There's got to be
yeah.
something that keeps you motivated every day when you wake up and you're like, righto, this is what I'm going to do today. how do you keep motivated to put your entire being into this business? And I guess off the back of that, do you have any
Yeah.
advice for maybe some hosts that want to grow within urban rec, personally, professionally, in a business sense? Like what would you tell
Yeah.
26-year-old Madeline?
Oh, okay. That was like three layers of
I
questions, of which
know.
I'll
Good
try
luck
and
with that one.
individually answer. Okay, so I think that the best thing about okay, so how do I keep going after it's going to be, I think I looked it up because I asked Google, I think it's going to be 14 years because technically we started in 2000, December 2011 was our launch party. And that was
Wow.
like the most tragic launch party ever, by the way. So
Can we
that's another
insert some
story.
clips into this from that night?
It was terrible. Anyway, what was the second part of your question?
How
How
do
do
you
I
wake
keep
up every day?
motivated?
How do you wake up
Yeah.
every day and think, I'm going to do this today?
So I think the funny thing about it is exciting because of the nature of the all all I've just said, I take back in the sense of like the fact that I'm a generalist. So we don't have someone who works in HR. We don't have a marketing department. We don't have a
Yeah.
training and development department. So there's a lot of those things that I cover. So I get to kind of be the jack of all trades and wear a lot of different hats in my role. And I
Mm.
can wake up one day and decide that our hosts are the most like, and they all the way, by the way, you guys hear this from me all the time in head office. Our hosts are the most
Yeah.
important people
Yeah.
in our club, bar
Yeah.
none.
Yeah.
But I can decide that that's a real big focus for me just this week. And so I will like dive into like researching hosts and understanding them and what motivates them to work with us and release programs and launch podcasts like this. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, they matter. They're the most important people. Like, let's engage them. Let's like talk to them. Let's help them like come into our world. And then the very next day, I'm there doing like a financial report, and the accountant's calling me, what about that? And so I'm wearing then a completely different hat. And that
Mm.
definitely keeps me twigged on because it's not boring. Every day I'm
Mm.
like a different version of me, basically. So
Yeah.
it's kind of that I think that's what keeps me motivated. And also like all it takes is just go to one league one
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding, it's like injecting myself with some kind of like social sport drug. It helps me stay motivated because I'm like, I just go ahead and I see these people playing and I'm just like they've made friends and they have like no idea who I am or like how much energy they're giving me just by watching them operate. I'm like, you guys are friends because of us. Like I take
Yeah.
massive credit in that. I'm like,
Yeah.
you are all loving each other sick and you
Yeah.
wouldn't know each other if it
Yeah.
wasn't for this club and all the things that go on around it. And
Yeah.
that just fuels my fire. Like I don't even know why it keeps like there's no boredom in that for me. I'm like, that is just energy and I love it. So if I get a little bit weary ever and I'm like, what is the meaning and like complaints and harassment and weirdos and drama that goes on, all the background
Yeah.
stuff that nobody needs to know about, but
Yeah.
it's really cool to go there and actually experience in real life what we're about and why we do it because the people that experience urban rec are just it. Oh my god, I'm rambling, I'll stop talking, sorry.
No, and as you were talking, I was like, you are encapsulating when we're thinking about this podcast. This is the reason why we started it. Like for me, I guess the message that I want to get across as we work through this podcast is the hosts. I really want you all to realize you are a part of something so much bigger than what you probably think. That's why
Yeah.
it's so good to get people like Mads on, is that, you are the heart and soul, the face of this business. And we love you guys. So no, Mads really put it so well. And Mads, the last part of that question that I asked was, if there's people, and as a league manager, I get asked all the
Yeah.
time, what are the other opportunities within a urban rec, and what would your advice be to a host that's like, oh, I think I've got this social sport drug too. How do I get more of it? What's your advice?
Yeah, amazing. So there is actually so many different ways. And by the way, the best people that come and work in head office have all started as hosts. And if you look around our senior management team, is all of them have started as players and then hosts. And so it is definitely the bread and butter of where the best people come from.
Yeah.
They usually get the culture, they understand what we're trying to achieve, and they're super bought in. Those that want to come and work with us because, as you say, they believe in it, they believe in the cause, they believe in the culture, and yeah, so there's so many different ways that once you've left hosting, there's supervisor roles that are in every single city, which is a great way to kind of do more and go above and beyond and have a bit more responsibility and accountability into actually the league's success. You can trial other hosts, you can do launches. That's definitely for the people that are I don't know, yeah, definitely bought in and quite passionate. So
Mm,
that's the supervisor shifts. And then, of course, league management is a great opportunity to come in. We do sometimes we have part-time league managers, so people that are studying that just want to do it, they can only commit to like 12 to 20 hours a week.
mm,
Then they can actually still be involved in this while they're studying. Or they could, for example, even if you're working in a job that is kind of relaxed and you're feeling a little disengaged, you can
mm,
come and work for us evening and just do a part-time gig, but just in the evenings and really like soak it all up and get
mm,
involved. Um, and then, of course, we have league manager opportunities coming up pretty regularly.
mm,
We've had a huge amount open in almost every location this year.
mhm,
And with Perth launching as well, that's going to be more opportunities. So, and then like it just goes up and up from there. There's league managers, there's operations managers, there's business managers, and then there's just so many different places for people to get involved at any level, depending on what their availability is and what time they can give.
mm. I love that.
Mm.
I love that. Well, I guess a lot of that leads into, you know, our why. And I think when I look at hiring hosts or when I look at all my hosts and talk to them, understanding their why is so important and understanding,
Yes.
and I guess that comes back to being motivated every day. Like how do we all get up and come to work? It's our why.
Mm.
So I guess, throughout the podcast, we'll touch on your why. We'll touch on what makes you exhilarated to go to a league when it's been raining and cold all week.
Mm.
It's a good time of year for that. What makes you want to be there? And that's something that I hope that you all kind of take out of it and have a chat to your league manager. And this is maybe my why. And what do you want to achieve from this? Some people sign up as hosts because they want to get better at public speaking. Others want to make new friends. Others want to increase their social skills. Others want to increase their proficiency in a certain sport. We have a Brazilian host who loves soccer and he just wants to increase the things he knows about social soccer. So yeah, what's your take on that, Matt?
Yeah, look, I think far out, like that's the people that came to work with me when I was a league manager back in the day were all there. The money's great, but none of them were there for that. Like the money's
Mm,
good because you get paid for your time and what like sort of respectful exchange of time. But
mm,
it is definitely over the years, just anyone that's been involved, it's always been for the right reasons.
yeah.
And they're very passionate. And it's so funny because I was just talking to my two hosts in Brisbane yesterday,
Mm,
and they definitely don't need the money. And I mean, it's
mm,
nice to have, but
mm,
it's like they're just there because they actually believe in what we're
yeah.
doing. And the why is like, for in particular, this person, his why is very much that he just wants to spread it. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's like he's in my head. He's like, I just believe in it. He's like, I've been to so many social comps where they claim they're social and it's just not it.
Yeah.
And you guys are actually delivering on what you say you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. And I want to spread it with everyone, as many people as possible. And I was like, you're good. Like you get it. Like you're
Yeah.
here. You get it.
Yeah.
And I think his why is clear to me, and it's like he just loves being involved because he wants to just do a good thing for his community. And I was like, clap him out. Love your work, mate.
Yeah.
This is
I think
all
that's so
about.
true. As a league manager,
Yeah.
like people's why, I could probably tell them their why before they explicitly tell me. Like
Yeah.
you can see straight through it. And I think
Yeah.
that's something so special that, I've had so many hosts say to me they do it for free. Others have no idea how much they get paid or how frequently. They don't know anything about it because all they know
Yeah.
is they're there at Tuesday basketball every single week and they have been for 5 years. And that's all
And
they know and they love it.
what it's just like, and also what a great contribution to your
Oh,
community. Like, do
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's so cool. And I'm so stoked when we get those great hosts in that truly see and believe and are bought in.
Yeah.
I could do backflips. It's so exciting. They get
We'll get that on record in a moment. Um, well, that's been so helpful. So helpful. I guess to finish off, like obviously do you want to talk a little bit about our mission, Mats, and what we're here to do and
it.
what that kind of means from a CEO point of view, the mission of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so the mission is to change the way Australians play sport. And that is exactly as I explained at the top of this chat. And that's because before we existed in Australia, there was only one or two ways to play sport. And that was competitively in a community club, which by the way, I'm not poo-pooing community clubs. They have absolute time and place. It's just they're not for everybody.
Mm,
And, it's just about having that third option, having another way where you can experience sport in a way that suits you and suits your lifestyle.
Mm.
I remember just everybody said to me it wouldn't work, and I'm so excited to prove them wrong, like every single day. Like it's pretty motivating when someone's like, the Aussies don't like this. Aussies want to play for like Aussies want to play for seriousness, and I'm like,
Yeah.
of course they do, but there's a culture in which it can be achieved without. I don't know. I'm not articulating it perfectly, but
No, I love
changing the
it.
way Australian
I
changing the
love
way
it.
Australians play sport is the mission. And look, everyone that works with us, especially the hosts, oh my God, especially the hosts, are mission critical to that purpose, like mission critical. So
Yeah, yeah. And I think if anyone gets anything out of it, it's the huge role that the hosts have in helping fulfill that mission of changing the way Australians play sport. It's you guys that they look forward to seeing every week. It's you guys that a lot of them come back for. And
yes.
we don't want it to be lost on you how important you are to us, to the business, to the members. And hopefully, this is a nice platform that we'll get heaps of different other guest speakers on, and we'll have a bit of a chat about Urban Rec and hosting. And you can come back and watch this if you want to know any questions about Urban Rec or about any of the topics that we'll cover. So thank you, Mads, so much for coming on. I think it's going to be so valuable for our hosts to see, that we can all vouch for the culture that we provide at Urban Rec definitely starts with you. And we're so grateful to be working alongside you, and so grateful for your time to jump on episode 1 of the Rec
Amazing.
Room.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys,
Thanks
we'll see you in episode 2. Thanks for watching.
All right, see ya. See ya.